Let's catch up again with Suzi Smeed, a child Holocaust survivor who's written about her experiences in a book, The Courage to Care. Suzi joins me now live. Suzi, thanks for talking to us. I want to talk about your book first up, because there's so many lessons to be learned from a life like yours, and this is what your book is about, the trauma you went through and your family went through during the Nazi Holocaust, and how you've rebuilt and had such a wonderful and fruitful life in Australia.
Absolutely, Chris, and thanks for having me and talking about my book. And my book is about the time that anti-Semitism became the worst in history, and the worst in history until now. And it's in a similar way the Holocaust commenced on Crystal Night, out of which the Nazi propaganda grew. And we're again seeing the same lies being hysterically screamed. And I think people should be aware that Western civilization is again being groomed in a true Nazi style to be told the same lies over and over again until it's so familiar to be accepted as the truth by Islamic terrorists.
It's just frightening.
It is terrifying.
Now, Suzi, there was an excerpt from your book that relates to this that you wanted to read?
I just wanted to read a little something. When the Jews in Hungary, where I was rounded up, and it was almost at the end of the war, and they were rounding the Jews up to take them to a ghetto, even though the Russians were coming to liberate Budapest. And as the Jews were marched there, it was raining and cold, but the streets were lined with crowds of people, mainly women, who clapped as they went past, shouting abuse and revelling in their fate. And these weren't Nazis, they were just ordinary Hungarians. Now, we're seeing something so similar here in this country. It makes my blood run cold. It is. I cannot believe these young people who have not read history, who do not know what these terrorists are capable of, and they're trying to bring down Western civilization. And I'd like to, can I just read you something from a Lutheran pastor who was rounded up by the Nazis, and his name was Martin Niemöller. And he said, first they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out. I was not a socialist. Then they came for the unionists, and I did not speak out. I was not a unionist. And then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out. I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was nobody to speak for me.
Yeah, it is a very, very famous lesson, is that, and it is timely. Thanks for reminding us of it and reading it to us, Suzi, because this is the point. If you believe in freedom, if you believe in liberty and in fairness, you have to stand by the Jewish community in Australia and around the world now, because what's being perpetrated against you is hateful, it's violent, and the propaganda machine behind Hamas and other Islamist extremist groups are so clever, and they're getting young minds who know no better, and they're trying to blame all the ills of the world on Israel.
And nobody appreciates, to have a look at the Middle East. Israel is the only democratic country in the world. I mean, in the
Arab world, yeah, in the Middle East.
In the Arab world. Israel is 1/3 the size of Tasmania. It has produced so much to the world. It's done in medicine, in technology, in agriculture, in books, in universities. I mean, it has contributed so much to the world. I mean, you would not be able to use your mobile phone without Israel.
Thanks so much for sharing that with us, Suzi. Stay strong, stay brave, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you, Chris.
Suzi Smeed there live.